Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So, not too long ago, I did an episode on the truth about Commander players, and if you haven't seen the episode, make sure you check it out at some point. But one of the things I brought up on that episode is how Commander is just a different format than others because, well, the main goal of Commander isn't, winning. Your goal when you sit down at a table is more so to probably have fun and try out new things and, meet new people. And yeah, winning is kind of secondary. And with that, the focus of Commander, not just being on winning, I thought it'd be kind of fun to just flip it on its head, where we had a Commander format where your goal was just to lose. To actually lose. To see who could lose the quickest. And we're going to call this LoseMander. And actually, I think this logo is kind of cute, right? You got a little sad face there. Oh, no. Oh, darn, I've lost. But yeah, the goal of this format would be to lose. Now, if you were to build a deck with this format, what would you be considering? Because there are some incredible ways that you can lose incredibly quickly. So maybe the actual winner of the game is the one that loses, if that makes any sense. And yeah, you could actually probably have people play for, second, third, and fourth place by just seeing who loses next, and then next. And yeah, again, the person that actually wins loses. You know what I mean? Anyways, blame Eddie in the comments below because Eddie helped me out with some of the cards on this episode. And of course, let's jump into it. So first up, let's talk about the pacts, starting off with Pact of the Titan, an instant for 0 mana that says create a 4/4 red giant creature token. So yeah, 0 mana, make a 4/4. Why isn't every deck running this? Oh, at the beginning of your next upkeep, you pay 4 in a red. If you don't, you lose the game. So yeah, this would be absolutely incredible for this LoseMander format, essentially, right? This is a 0 mana instant you can cast whenever you want, and it is going to guarantee that you lose the game because, well, you're not going to be paying that at your upkeep, right? Obviously won't have the resources early on enough anyways, but also you could just choose not to, so you just lose the game. Again, in a LoseMander format, this could be a turn 0 lose for you, essentially. Let's say that, you are not going first. Let's say you're just going second, okay? That other player's taking their turn. During their turn, you cast this for 0 mana at instant speed, and then you just get your upkeep, and you're like, well, can't pay it, I lose, which means you actually win again and LoseMander. Next up, how about Summoner's Pact? Very similar. Hey, go search the library for a green creature card reveal, put your hand, then shuffle your library, get an instant for 0 mana, and if you don't pay 2 green your upkeep, you lose. So again, yeah, even if you don't have a green creature in your deck, you don't even need one in your deck, you still lose. It does not matter. Intervention Pact. It is an instant for 0 mana. The next time a sorcerer of your choice will deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage, you gain life, heal life. Prevent this way. Again, that source does not actually have to deal you the damage. It could just be someone's land in play, and you're like, oh no, that land scares me. If it's going to ever deal me damage, I'll gain life instead. But you really don't care about that. All you care about is just making sure that, hey, you're going to lose the game because at your next upkeep, you're not going to pay that 1 white, and you will lose, which means you win. Now, the other pacts are a bit trickier. Pact of Negation is an instant for 0 mana that says counter target spell. Beginning of your next upkeep, pay 3 blue. If you don't, you lose the game. So basically, with this one, you do need a spell to counter to that. It can be obviously one of your own spells if you've got something else that you can cast, or if an opponent casts something, but yeah, you do need something to be cast to be able to actually utilize this, so it's not quite as good as, say, Pact of the Titan, again, which does not need that requirement. In a similar way, there's Slaughter Pact, an instant for 0, again, it says destroy target non-black creature at the beginning of your next upkeep, pay 2 and a black. If you don't, you lose the game. So again, that same 0 mana, that same instant speed, that same loss requirement, essentially. But again, you do need a target for this. You need a non-black creature in play, and if there is not one, you cannot effectively lose the game with this. Oh, so sad. So yeah, make sure that if you are utilizing these in LoseMander, you keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, and thank you, Eddie, for bringing this up, but yeah, if you had all 5 of these packs in your deck, and you were just going to be utilizing them to lose very quickly, mulliganing would be very important because, hey, if you just keep mulliganing, eventually you might hit one of them, and again, you don't need any resources for them, really, so yeah, something like Serum Powder could be great for your deck as well. You don't need this to lose. It can kind of just get you the hand that can help you lose. It's a standard kind of mana rock, artifact for 3, taps for 1, but it is not standard, and it says anytime you can mulligan and Serum Powder is in your hand, you may exile all the cards from your hand and draw that many cards. So basically, an extra free Mulligan. So, yeah, I think this is actually the only card out there, legal in Commander, I believe, that actually mentions Mulliganing, and yeah, this is definitely one that could be impactful if you are trying to get the right hand to lose. Next up, some other I lose cards are cards like Final Fortune, Warrior's Oath, and Last Chance, which basically all do the exact same thing. Final Fortune is an instant for red. It says take an extra turn for this one. Oh, and by the way, at the end of that turn, you lose the game. So, obviously, turn 2, even if you're in a mono red deck, you could lose the game. I guess it would be your turn 3 because, you cast this, you get an extra turn, then you just lose. So, yeah, I mean, you can do it for just 2 mana. I mean, there are obviously rituals that you can utilize, on turn 1 so that you could utilize these. And we'll talk about some other rituals here in a bit as well. But yeah, being able to just utilize, these cards early and often in a lose strategy, yeah, could be quite important in this kind of a very strange format. Warrior's Oath and Last Chance, basically the exact same thing, but again, at sorcery speed. All these are decently expensive, so, and yeah, I probably should have mentioned that as well. I'm definitely bringing up some non-budget cards in this episode. Many of those packs are quite expensive, and yeah, a LoseMander format would probably be quite expensive, and who wants to lose first could become a battle of, hey, who's got the Warrior's Oath? That being said, there are some more budget-friendly alternatives like Alchemist Gambit and Glorious End. Alchemist Gambit is basically the exact same thing, but at 3 mana, but you can also cleave it if you didn't want to lose the game because it says take an extra turn for this one. During that turn, damage can be prevented. At the beginning of the next turn's end step, you lose the game. If you did cleave that, though, you'd take off that last place, of course you don't actually, lose the game, but yeah, you're going to be losing the game. So don't pay that cleave cost, pay the regular cost. Or also 3 mana, there's Glorious End. It's an instant, 4/2 and red says end the turn. So this one actually can be kind of tricky because, hey, if your opponent has something, where they're going to lose the game, you're like, well, you're casting that pact, but nope, I'm just actually going to cast this. Let's get around that pact, and then I'm just actually going to lose the game at the beginning of my next end step. So yeah, another way to kind of get around your opponent losing the game and you losing the game first. Moving on, life loss, of course, is another way that you can lose the game. And you can even do so very easily on turn 1 with a card like Spoils of the Vault, an instant for a black that says, choose a card name, reveal card to the top of your library to reveal a card with that name, then put that card in your hand, exile all their cards revealed this way, and you lose 1 life for each of the exiled cards. Basically, all you need to do, it's very simple, okay? You name a card that is not in your deck. That's all you need to do. So just say, even if you say, an illegal card, I'm sure you can say an illegal card, right? Black Lotus. Cool. I say Black Lotus. That is a card that could not possibly be in my Commander deck because it is illegal in Commander. And I'm just going to keep revealing because I'm not going to hit it. And then I'm losing 1 life for each of the exiled cards. And of course, you start off at 40 life in Commander. You're going to be down to, well, 0. And very quickly with this. So yeah, just again, 1 mana, instant speed, able to lose right away. Pretty crazy. Or maybe, again, if you have a Dark Ritual, again, those ritual effects can definitely help out early and often with this kind of a strategy. Toxic Deluge can really help you out in losing. This will cast the cost of spell, pay X life. All creatures get -X until end of turn. A 3-mana spell. Again, you could just turn 1 this with a Dark Ritual. Hey, pay 40 life. All those pesky creatures out there get -40, -40, and you're gone. You are gone because you just paid all the life that you had, and you lose. But, I mean, win in this format. Anyways, next up, Fire Covenant. We've got basically the exact same thing. You're paying life to deal damage to target creatures. Now, this one, kind of like, when I was talking about Slaughter Pact, you do need a target for this. So, again, you need at least 1 creature in play for this to be effective and for you to be able to pay that life so that you can actually lose the game. Moving on, we've got a creature that can actually help us lose the game with Blood Celebrant. It's got an ability that has pay a black, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Now, with this one, it might look like you have to keep activating that again and again and again with more and more mana, but here's the thing. You just pay a black, pay 1 life, add a black mana to your mana pool, then you utilize that to activate this again. And again, and again, and again, paying 1 life every single time and going down to 0 in absolutely no time. Again, Dark Ritual, you can very easily do this on turn 1 with 1 extra mana available too. I mean, turn 2 at the very least, just, a singular swamp, and this could have you lose the game as soon as turn 2. Next up, Cavern Harpy, another creature that can help you out in losing, a 2-mana creature that has flying, and yeah, it says when it comes into play, you return a blue or black creature you control to its owner's hand, so you do need to do that, but also, yeah, we can pay 1 life to bounce it back to our hand, and you can respond to that. You can just keep paying 1 life again, and again, and again, as many times as you want before it's actually even bounced back to your hand, so you do lose the game with that. Spatial Binding, another 2-mana card that can help us lose the game. An enchantment this time. Pay 1 life, target permanent cannot phase out until the beginning of your next upkeep. You really don't care about it phasing out or not. All you care about is being able to target something and just paying 1 life again and again and again, going down to 0. You can even just target this, right? You can even just have it target itself. Or a land. It does not matter. Of course, there are other variable ways to lose life as well, like Hibernation Sliver, kind of similar to the Harpy. It says each sliver gains pay 2 life, return this creature to its owner's hand. So of course that means that this sliver has that ability as well. Again, you can pay that 2 life as many times as you want. That being said, obviously, you need to ensure that you have an even amount of life to lose, because let's say you're at 41 or 39. This can only get you down to 1 because you cannot pay life that you do not have. So once you get down to 1 life, you cannot pay 1 for this ability. I mean, you can't pay 2 for it. You only have 1. You know what I mean? Unspeakable Symbol. This one at 3 life. So yeah, pay 3 life, get a counter on a creature. This one you would need a creature in play, as well, again, as, you know, a variable of 3 for your life total. Adanto Vanguard. This one, you don't need another creature in play. Pay 4 life, gains indestructible on end of turn. You can do this as many times as you want, but again, you need to be, you know, at some, you know, iteration of 4 essentially to actually be able to lose. So again, if you are at 40, cool, you can lose. But if you are at, say again, 41, 39, you're not gonna be able to get there. Now, some cards that will get you down to 0 are cards like Phyrexian Processor and Volcano Hellion. These are not, you know, a pay 1 life. These are pay an amount of life, essentially. Phyrexian Processor enters the battlefield, pay any amount of life. Then you can make some minions. Cool. But again, really all you care about is, hey, get this in play. Pay whatever amount of life you have, whether that's 40, 39, whatever it is at the time. You pay that amount of life, then you lose the game. Volcano Hellion. This one's really strange, and actually a long time ago, I always thought about, you know, like a Boros Reckoner kind of work with this. And anyways, that's beside the point. What is the point is it says when it comes into play, it deals an amount of damage of your choice to you and target creature. This damage can't be prevented. So basically, you're like, okay, how much life do I have? Yeah, 40. Okay, I'm going to have it deal 40 damage to that creature and 40 damage to me, and I am gone. So yeah, I mean, this is a way to essentially just, you know, one-shot yourself and something else. I mean, and I believe, and correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on this, you could actually just have Volcano Hellion target itself to deal that damage to. So you don't need another creature to target. But again, if I'm wrong on that, let me know in the comments below. Again, I am not an official LoseMander judge. Moving on, Demonic Consultation, an incredibly powerful card, one of the most powerful combo cards in Commander that works with Thassa's Oracle, but it's also an incredibly powerful card in LoseMander because, hey, it can basically just get rid of your library for just a single mana. Again, all you need to do is just name a card that's not in your deck, and there goes your deck. And then as soon as you go to draw a card, you lose. So maybe you've got another spell that can have you draw a card, or, you know, you do this before your turn, etc., etc. Tainted Pact. 1 more mana, basically somewhat similar. Remove the top card of your library from the game. You put a card in your hand unless it has the same name of another card. Remove this way. Repeat this process until you put a card into your hand or remove 2 cards with the same name, whichever comes first. So all you need to do for this kind of a deck would be to not have 2 cards that have the exact same name. So yeah, you do need to build around that. Not having, you know, basic lands of the same name, that could be important. Or Divining Witch. I didn't even know this card existed until looking into this format, essentially. This is basically, in a very similar way, something similar to Demonic Consultation. Hey, again, just name a card that you don't have. So yeah, utilize something like this to lose the game as well. And some other creatures that can help us lose the game are Hermit Druid, Inverter of Truth, and Leveler. Hermit Druid has pay green, tap really the top card of your library until you hit a basic land. It goes in your hand, the rest go in your graveyard. If you don't put any basics in your deck, you are just going to reveal your entire library, put it into your graveyard, and then when you go to draw a card, you lose. Inverter of Truth can just kind of circumvent this whole process, though, and it says, hey, enters the battlefield, let's exile all the cards from our library face down, then we shuffle the cards in our graveyard into our library. Well, if we don't have a graveyard, we don't have a library then, and then we lose. Once we go to draw, Leveler, in a very similar way, hey, it's a 10-10 for 5, awesome! Most importantly, though, comes into play, we lose our library. Our library is exiled. So yeah, plenty of ways to just get rid of your library and just mill yourself out, essentially. Now, one card that will not lose us the game, but I think would be incredible in this kind of a format, is Abyssal Persecutor. This card is fantastic. It's a 6/6 flying trampling demon that costs 4 mana. That's cool. The coolest part about it, though, is it says you can't win the game and your opponents can't lose the game. So it's kind of like a reverse Platinum Angel, but it's perfect for this kind of a format. In LoseMander, again, your opponents want to lose the game. They want to lose as quickly as possible. And if you can say get this out early, your opponents can't do that until they actually deal with this. So again, it's kind of like that reverse Platinum Angel where, hey, as long as this is in play, I've got my game plan going and I can try to lose the game myself, but you need to deal with this first or else you can never lose the game. Well, until I lose, then you all can also lose too because this would be gone. But yeah, a crazy card for a format like this. Moving on, let's talk about some commanders that might be big in this LoseMander format. And one of the first ones that came to my mind was definitely Phage the Untouchable, a fantastically cool commander that is kind of janky as an actual commander because of a first line of text. When it enters the battlefield, if you didn't cast it from your hand, you lose the game. Again, this is very specific because, yeah, it's your commander, so it's not going to be in your hand. It's going to be in the command zone. Now, with commander decks built around Phage, there are ways to get around that. But again, for this LoseMander format, your goal is to do the opposite of that. You do not want to get around that. You want to lean into that. All you need to do is to get 7 mana, get Phage into play, and you lose. Again, that trigger goes on the stack, and you lose. So yeah, I think this is definitely a commander. You could see some decks in a LoseMander format where they're built completely around just, here's my commander, it's Phage. You know what this is about. All I'm trying to do is literally just ramp, get rituals, utilize mana very quickly to get this out and lose right away. Next up, actually another commander that could be incredible in this format and could lose very, very quickly is Unctus Grand Metatech. Yeah, an incredibly powerful commander in regular commander, but also one that is incredibly powerful in LoseMander as well, because it's got pay a Phyrexian blue until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a blue artifact issued to other colors and types. Activate as a sorcery, so with that Phyrexian blue again, you can either pay a blue mana, which we're not going to do, or 2 life, which we are going to do. And we can pay this as many times as we want. All you need to do is get Unctus out, be at an even life total, and then pay this, until you're down to 0 life and you lose. You can just keep paying this again and again and again. You can even have Unctus target itself with it, so you don't need other creatures in play. So yeah, Unctus is definitely a commander that could thrive in a format like this. And one of my favorite commanders, Codie, could also be great in this kind of a format because, well, Codie is a 5-color commander, so it gives you access to all the cards. And, of course, it'd be giving you access to those packs, and it would be great with those packs as well because it has pay 4, tap, add Wooburg. When you cast your next spell this turn, exile cards to the top of your library to exile an instant or sorcery card with lesser mana value. Till that turn, you may cast a card with paying its mana cost, put each other card exiled this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. All you need to do is get Codie out, activate this, and then utilize that mana to cast any spell, any instant or sorcery essentially, that costs a single mana. When you do, again, if you've got only those packs in your deck that cost 0, you are going to hit one of those packs and win by losing. You know what I mean? You're going to cast that and then lose at your next upkeep. So yeah, a Codie Packs deck could definitely be a way to go as well, though obviously utilizing a lot of different ways to lose the game could be very effective in this kind of a very strange format. So yeah, just overall, I think this is a very strange idea, one that I think could be pretty interesting, one that again is just kind of flipping it on its head. Hey, okay, what do we actually want to do with this? Again, we actually don't really care about winning. We care about losing and how quickly we can lose. And then again, some weird cards like Abyssal Persecutor become incredible in a format like this because you're like, yeah, you know what? You all aren't losing. I want you to win. No, I want you to win. Everyone's being just overly polite. No, I want you to win. I'll lose first, okay? I'll lose first. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this. I mean, I think it's a very strange concept, and yeah, not sure why it popped in my mind, but I felt like I needed to share it. Oh, and one more quick note that I probably should have brought up at the beginning of this episode. Yeah, the format would not allow conceding. Obviously, because yeah, you could just technically then lose the game by sitting down and looking at your hand and being like, I concede! And then yeah, that wouldn't be any fun. So yeah, no conceding. Only losing. And with that, today's episode is coming to a close. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.